Hello, welcome. So pleased to have you all here. Such an interesting topic. Should I stay or should I go? And I will share with you, some of the scenarios that I've felt this way in and that I've been able to move through, just so that you get a bit of a feel for who I am. We'll have a look at, what's at stake if nothing changes. I'll give you an introduction about who I am. We will have a look at, why is it that you keep getting stuck and why is it so hard to get yourself out of these situations? Because you're not alone, you're not the only one. And how can you choose a new reality? And then at the end, I'll go through and give you a special gift, which is an opportunity for you to experience some of the things that I actually do. So that'll be really cool. So stick around for that. So who am I? I'm Christie Moran. I'm a intuitive life coach. I created holistic life transformations, and the reason that I do what I do is because I want people to be able to live their true life, to live their true authentic self. And so many of us really struggle to not just live that life, but to even figure out who that person is. We get so caught up in the worlds of everybody around us and what they need, what they want, what society says is right or wrong, who we should be and what box we should fit into, that we're off on this path and we're trying to do all the right things and trying to support the people that we love and trying to fit in, trying to belong in this world that we feel like we sometimes don't belong in. And we can adjust our own behavior, cut parts of ourselves off so that we can fit into this society and be accepted. But the problem is that we're not really being accepted because we're being accepted for this version of ourselves that we've put out there that isn't really us. And then we find ourselves stuck in a job, in a relationship, in a situation where we're now going, well, I don't even know who I am anymore. I've got this life that I've created that isn't the life that I want anymore. And maybe it was at one point, but maybe you've continued to grow past that and now you're ready to sort of take that next step. Or maybe you've just kind of ended up here and you're now sort of going, I don't really think I want to be here anymore, but I don't know how to move forward. I don't know what it is that I want instead. I don't know if I can even do this. And, I'm here to give you, I guess, some context around why that is and how you can start to move forward, regardless of whether you make a decision to stay or a decision to go. And that is completely your decision. And sometimes the answer is, yeah, it's time to take the step and move and change. And other times there's things that you can do to make some changes, which just improves the situation that you're in so that you are able to be you are able to be happy in that current environment. So it's not always, let's throw everything away and start again. Sometimes there's some things that we can do to create that joy, that fulfillment in the current situation. So I guess for me, the couple of situations that have been biggest in my world over my life, to give you a bit of a brief rundown of who I am. So I got pregnant when I was 17, had my heart broken when I was 19, ended up getting married to someone else when I was 24. And that decision to get married was not probably made from a space that it was going to be best for me. I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to create a life that I loved, a life that I wanted. And on paper, that all made sense. My husband was a really good person. He was my best friend. He was a great stepdad, and then a great father. He had a good job. He did all of the right things. And on paper, I was looking at that going, well, he ticks all the boxes. So, this has to be right. This has to be the perfect relationship, the perfect guy. And the more I couldn't make that relationship work, the more I wasn't in love with him, the more I made myself wrong for that. And the more I found myself telling myself that this was all my fault. I just needed to try harder. I just needed to give it longer. What sort of a person am I if I just walk away from this marriage? He's done nothing wrong. The guilt that I felt and the inner turmoil that I had going on because I wasn't happy. I loved him as a best friend, but I wasn't in love with him, and he's not the person that I wanted to be in a relationship with. There wasn't the passion that I wanted. I wanted to be in a relationship where, I melted when my husband touched me. And making that decision to leave was one of the hardest things that I ever have done. Following that, I wasn't in a good space. The weight that lifted from my shoulders was amazing, and I knew I'd done the right thing. However, the challenges over the next few months of finding myself and the guilt of crushing this person, of breaking this person's heart who had done nothing wrong, who was a good person, all of that guilt and negative self-talk just had me spiraling down. And I do remember one afternoon I'm lying on the lounge and my kids are there watching TV, and I just wanted to pull the blanket over my head and go to sleep and not wake up. And I rang my mum and I'm like, you need to come over because I don't know what I'm going to do. And so she did. And that was really a big shift for me in my own personal development. I'd already been quite interested in personal development from a career perspective, and my career was going really well. But from a self-empowerment perspective, from a being able to love and accept me, that was really the beginning of that phase of my personal development, because I could not feel that way anymore. That was just not an option. It was not a life that I was willing to accept. And so that was sort of the line in the sand for me to go, no, find another way, because, I do deserve to be happy, and I do deserve to be able to live this life as me. And I just had to find a way to be able to do that. The next time in my life where I sort of faced that big decision of should I stay or should I go was a few years ago, when I was working in corporate. So I was a regional manager for a financial institution. And again, I'm in an amazing organization. I've got an amazing job with an amazing salary, with amazing people. And, I'd been there for a long time, and I had loved what I was doing. I was passionate about what that was, because it was coaching, and of every single role that I've had in my career has been about training people, coaching people, supporting people to be the best that they could be. And I absolutely have loved that component. And in the regional manager role, what I had found was more and more people were in front of me because there was issues at work. they were being performance managed, or they had stuff going on which was impacting the work that they were doing, or who they were being when they were at work. And for those people, it was quite often about stuff that was going on at home, or stuff that had happened in their past that was still with them, that was impacting who they were being at work, was impacting what they were able to achieve, how happy they were, whether or not they were sabotaging themselves every time they tried to go to that next step, tried to get that promotion. And whilst I was able to help so many people progress in their career, overcome their challenges, achieve their goals, it just seemed that more and more increasingly there was this group of people that I had the skills and ability to be able to help, but it wasn't part of my role. It wasn't appropriate for me to be able to help them with their past trauma or the stuff that they had going on at home, in that corporate environment, even though that I knew I could. And so I just felt more trapped and more stuck and less fulfilled as time went on. And so I then had that decision to make again. Well, should I stay or should I go? And I sort of got to that tipping point where it's like, I have to go. I have to do more. I just have to be able to help people on this larger scale because I can, and because for me to live my purpose and my passion, that is to assist people to live their best life, to be able to overcome the crap so that they can live this life that they never would have been able to live had they not worked with me or overcome that trauma, overcome those hurdles. So I knew in my heart that I needed to do this. And then it was just about, holy crap, how? Like, that's really scary. Got an awesome job, great money, I've got responsibilities, I've got a mortgage, I've got kids. How can I just throw that all away and go out and create this new life, this new business, simply because it's what I want to do. It's what I'm passionate about. So it did take me, some work to get my own mindset right, and having access to these tools, to these modalities that I do, and being able to work with a coach myself, because you can only get so far on your own. Sometimes you do need that objective person or someone to ask you a different question, because when we're kind of stuck in our own situation, we can only really see what we can see, and it's very hard to step outside of that situation and take a different look or ask a different question or see a different possibility. So, utilizing these amazing processes has transformed my life, because it meant that I was able to make that decision. And the day I was actually resigning, I decided today's the day, I'm doing it. And my boss called in sick, and I was like, no. So I actually rang her at home, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I've made this decision, and I've committed to myself that I'm doing this today. So I'd made sure I was in head office so that I could have spoken to her, and obviously she wasn't there. So yeah, let her know, and then spent the rest of the day stalking my executive officer's door for a free moment to be able to go in and let my exec know that I had made that decision as well. And that was really hard to do, to actually go, yep, it's official. I've made the decision. But walking out of his office was so surreal. It, like, the weight that had been lifted from my shoulders. It felt so liberating to be free, to be able to do what I so passionately wanted to do. And at the same time, scary as all hell, because I hadn't created anything. I didn't have another job to go to. It was just this idea of what I knew was possible, and backing myself to go out and make that happen. So it was, I don't think I'll ever really forget that moment, because it was pretty awesome. So I guess that's me, and that's what's gotten me to this point in my life, in my career, and why I'm so passionate about doing what I do, because I don't want anybody to feel like they're stuck in a situation that they can't get out of, or that they can't live a life that they love, or that they don't deserve to live a life that they love, because you absolutely do. And anything that I can do to support you on that journey is just an absolute honor. That brings us to the drama cycle. So this is where we start to talk about what's keeping you stuck. So with this little triangle, we've got three aspects. So you've got the rescuer, the victim, and the persecutor. So to give you a little bit more context, so the rescuer wants to just swoop in and save everybody. They take on everybody else's problems. They put everybody else's needs before their own. They feel like they're responsible for doing everything for everybody and pick up everybody else's slack. The victim is the one that can't do anything for themselves. They need everybody else to do everything for them. They don't want to take any responsibility. They're just going to sit there and allow things to just happen to them and around them, and they're not taking any responsibility for the situation, or taking any action to get out of it or make a change. And then the persecutor is the one who's berating or controlling or causing harm. And what drives each of these three personas is different things. So for the rescuer, it's I'm not lovable. No one will ever love me for who I am. So that drives that behavior then to go, well, I need to prove to everybody that I am lovable. I need to make myself invincible in their life so that they need me and they love me, because I'm not lovable in my own right. So it's about everything that I need to do for everybody else so that I can be lovable in my own right. The victim is preoccupied with, never feeling safe. Life's too hard. I can't help myself. I need someone to do it for me. And the persecutor is coming from a space of I'm not worthy and I'm not good enough. So that's kind of what drives each of those three aspects. Now, what's interesting about the drama triangle is that we all play in it. Some of us spend more time there than others. And when we're feeling stuck, it's often because we're sitting in this drama triangle and it just keeps going around and around and around. And so I'll give you a couple of examples. We even play this drama triangle with ourselves. So, maybe you've had a hard day at work, right? And you come home and you're like, oh, I've had such a hard day. It's been so stressful. I know that I've been so good with my diet. It's okay. I deserve this bowl of ice cream. So you're rescuing yourself from this situation that you've had at work during the day, right? And so you decide it's okay. I'm going to have this bowl of ice cream. That'll make me feel better. We eat the bowl of ice cream. Then we jump from being the rescuer of ourselves to the persecutor of ourselves. And we start to go, seriously? You ate the whole thing? Like, what were you thinking? You've been going so well on your diet and you've just ruined it all. You idiot, right? So we start persecuting ourselves. And then we go into victim mode. And we go, no, but I had a really hard day at work, and I just needed it, and I just needed something to make me feel better, and right? And then we go back to rescuer. No, it's okay, it's all right. You didn't do the wrong thing. It's okay that you ate all the ice cream. We just keep going around in circles. We also play this out in relationships with others. Let's say you've got a relationship where there's some verbal abuse going on. All right. As the rescuer, if you're in that rescuer space, you would be doing everything in that relationship to keep the peace. You're putting what they want and what they need, or what you perceive they want and need, first, and you're not getting what you need because you want to rescue them so that they can stay happy, stay in a good mood, so that they don't say nasty things, or so they don't leave, or so that there's not an argument or a yelling match or worse. All right. So the rescuer is trying to rescue that situation, rescue that person to make everything okay. The persecutor, that other person in the relationship, who it doesn't matter what the rescuer does, because it's not about the rescuer, they take it out on you anyway. And they say nasty things and they do nasty things and they attack you in that space. So when they've then turned on you, you've gone from trying to rescue them to being the victim. And you're now in this space where you're being attacked. And you're all like, this is terrible. Life's so hard. Can't believe I'm stuck in this situation. And there might be a point where you go, nah, I've had enough. I'm done. I'm not putting up with this anymore. You yourself then move into persecutor and your partner becomes the victim. So you're like, nah, I'm leaving. That's it. I'm done. And they're like, please don't go. Like, I won't do it again. I'm sorry. So they're in this victim space. And then you might go, oh, I feel bad. And you go from being the persecutor back to being rescuer. And you're like, I'm okay. I won't leave. It's all right. I'll come back. It's okay. And they go straight from victim back to persecutor, and they're back in control again. So can you see how it's so easy to be drawn into this and be moving from one space to the next, and you're just stuck going around in this circle. So why do we do this? How come? Like, why can't we just step out of that? And how do we step out of that? And we can. It is possible. This slide here is a beautiful picture of the mind. So the small circle is representative of the conscious mind, which is only about 5% of our overall mind. And the larger circle there is representative of the unconscious mind, which is about 95% of our mind. So what happens as we're going through our day, we're functioning from our unconscious mind 95% of the time. So what that means is anything that we've got programmed, stored, our experiences, our decisions, our rules, our beliefs are all stored in that unconscious mind, that 95%. So that's where we're running our life from 95% of the day. The 5%, the conscious mind, is where we're completely present with what we're doing, with the decisions we're making. And it's why you can consciously make a decision, okay, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go on this diet. And you're consciously having to decide every moment what you're going to eat. No, I'm not going to eat that. You're in conflict, you're fighting. It's such a struggle. And as soon as you stop focusing on it, you revert back to old behaviors, because it's all those old behaviors that are in that unconscious mind that are controlling you for 95% of the day. When we go through and experience life, when we're communicating with people, when we're having experiences, good or bad, when we're learning information, it all comes up through the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind can process something like 40 million bits of information per second. And the conscious mind can only process 134 bits of information per second. And those 134 bits need to be chunked up into 5 to 9 chunks of information. So what that means when we're receiving information is that everything's filtered through the unconscious mind, and then it's represented up to the conscious mind symbolically. It's a perception of what's happening in reality because it's been deleted, distorted, filtered all through that process of going through the unconscious mind. So when we have a situation in life and we decide things, I'll give you an example of Sally. Sally was so excited to start kindergarten, waking up every day. So, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Finally gets to start kindergarten, and she's so excited to make new friends and just enjoy the whole process. And the first few days she was like, talking to everybody, saying hello to everybody. And this particular day she's standing at the front gate and two girls walk in and she's like, "Good morning, how are you?" And they both looked at her with this disgusted look on their face and said, "Who do you even think you are? Why are you talking to us? We don't like you, so don't talk to us." And Sally was obviously hurt by those comments. And so that gets stored in the unconscious mind. And as similar events then occur in life, other times where somebody's rejected her or insulted her, then that adds to that and builds on that. And we create these internal beliefs and limitations. So we might make decisions that we're not likable, we're not good enough. If we're going to meet new people, we might get hurt, we might get rejected. It's not safe to meet new people. It's not safe to put myself out there. So we start to create all of these limitations and beliefs to keep ourselves safe. Our unconscious mind's primary prerogative is to keep us alive, to keep us safe. It's keeping our blood pumping, it's keeping us breathing, it's keeping everything doing what it needs to do. But it's also putting structure in place so that we're protected from situations externally. So that is, if I get bitten by a tiger, I'm probably going to create a belief that putting my hand in a tiger's mouth is not safe. And that makes total sense. The challenge with everyday life, though, is our unconscious mind still creates those limitations, those decisions, those beliefs to keep us safe, but it's not always helpful. So if we fast forward in Sally's life now and go, she's now at work, she turns up to work in the morning, normal chipper self, and says good morning to everybody. And, Pam over there doesn't respond. And next minute, Sally's in the boss's office, blowing up, going, "I'm sick of her. She's always rude. She's so disrespectful. I'm not working with her anymore. I want to talk to HR." And the boss is pulling Pam into the office, going, "What's going on? What happened? Sally's saying you're being disrespectful and you're ignoring her and stuff." And Pam's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is I need at least 2 coffees in the morning before I can talk to anybody. And I don't have a problem with Sally. Like, I talk to her at lunchtimes. Like, we do think, like, I don't even know what's going on." And can you see that Sally's perception and what Sally's unconscious mind has presented up to her is that when this scenario of Pam not responding to her saying good morning, that then equals Pam doesn't like her, Pam's being disrespectful based on her past scenarios and situations, but also how that's not helpful when it's not actually true. It's just Sally's perception of the situation, and Pam has a completely different perception of the situation. So that baggage and those rules and those beliefs can be helpful, but they're not always helpful. And it's about aligning what we've got going on in the unconscious mind to what we want in our conscious mind so that the two things are working together. Because otherwise you've got the ant, the conscious mind, making decisions that they want to do a particular thing, head off in a particular direction. And then the elephant of the unconscious mind is walking in the other direction, and you've got no hope. It's so hard when you're just working from the conscious mind. So it's about getting that alignment between both conscious and unconscious mind, stripping away the patterns and programming that is not helping, is not supporting the direction that you want to head in your life, and is based on past situations, past trauma, past belief, getting rid of all of that so that you still keep the wisdom and the learning from all of that, but it's not charged, and it doesn't have this emotional charge and connection where you're just being triggered or jumping to conclusion. It gives you the space to be able to have more choice, to have more possibility, and to not be working from automatic, but making choice around what you want the next thing to be, because you're not so triggered and so charged around it. So how do you get unstuck then? So it is about the patterns and the programming and the beliefs. So when we start to resolve those past traumas, start to remove the negative beliefs, start to remove those negative limitations, and to address the patterns and programming. So we also take on a lot of the programming and the patterns of our parents and loved ones, significant people in our lives, significant influences, and we don't even realize it at the time. And then we get to a certain point in our life where we're going, seriously, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep having the same relationship, the same issues, just with different people? Why do I keep doing the same thing over and over again? Why do I keep choosing jobs that I'm not happy in, that I'm not fulfilled? Why do I keep staying in this situation when it's not what I want? Why do I keep responding to my kid this way when I know I don't want to, but I keep doing it anyway? I work with people not on one problem. I can, and people get a result on that one problem, right? But that one problem is then just going to pop up somewhere else at another time in another area of their life, or in the same area of their life, because we haven't resolved the underlying pattern and programming. We've just resolved that one thing. So then it still pops up here and then pops up here. So you're kind of playing whack-a-mole as things pop up. Whereas the way I structure my programs is to be able to provide that clean slate, to provide that platform that the unconscious mind is supporting the conscious mind to be able to continually move forward. And that's not going to be for everybody, and that is okay. I want to work with people that are committed to making a change in their life, that they're willing to do what it takes to overcome whatever it is that's occurred in the past, to look at the beliefs that they've got and to let it go, so that they can truly have the life that they want, the life that they deserve, the life that they love. So I just want to go through now some I guess qualifying questions to determine, is this really for you? And if it's not, that's okay. So what will your life look like in 12 months if you don't make this change? How will you feel about life, about yourself? What will you be missing out on if you don't make this change? Is there things that you're wanting to do, wanting to experience, that you're not going to be able to if you don't make this change? How do you want to change things in your life? And if you are able to make all of those changes, by what date would you want this new way of life to just be? So without thinking about it, without pushing, it just is. When would you like that to be? And on a scale of 0 to 10, how committed are you to go out there and make this change that's necessary so that you can live this new reality? How committed are you? From 0 to 10, not being not at all, and 10 being totally committed. My next question is, why didn't you pick a lower number? Why didn't you pick a lower number than what you've just picked? What are the 2 or 3 reasons that you didn't pick a lower number? And fast forward now to that time in the future where you now have this changed life, this new life. Note down then the reasons why this is so important. You know, why do you want this new life? Why do you want these amazing things to be a part of your life? What's so important about that? And with this one, I'm going to get a little bit repetitive now, and you may be able to answer just with one word as we continue to dig down. But the idea of me asking this question over and over and over is to start to give you some clarity. We don't always know what the underlying purpose is of what we're doing or how we're acting or why we want what we want. And by having me continually ask this question, it's going to take it to a deeper level for you. So when you think about that reason that it's so important that you want what you want, why is that so important to you? Yeah, and then so, you know, why is it so important for you then to have freedom? Or why is it so important for you to make a difference? Why is it so important for you to be happy? So we just want to continue to dig that down deeper and deeper. And why is that important to you? And we'll start to be getting down to a space where, you know, it might be starting to get a little bit emotional. It might be starting to feel like there's nothing else there. Just give it a minute and just see what pops into your head. So why is that so important to you? You might even be getting a little bit confronting, because this is the thing that's really driving you, the thing that is most important to you for creating this change. And you may not have had any idea that that was what it was. Awesome. Well done. Good on you. To give you a little bit of an idea of what my programs look like. So this is the transformational blueprint. So with this blueprint, it essentially covers 4 areas. So we're looking at find you and love you, taking your life back, choosing a life of joy, and creating a life you love. And, you know, I've got entire transformation blueprint programs, and then I've got smaller components as well, so that anybody that wants to make a change in their life, anybody that wants to move forward, there is something there that is going to be doable for you. But I am just going to touch on briefly the overview that sort of brings all of those pieces together. But as I said, you might pick a piece or two and just work through it in your own time as well. So if we looked at that overall program, we would be looking at things like, you know, finding you and love you is transforming the foundational beliefs and emotions. So all of those built up emotions, the built up beliefs based on the scenarios that have happened in your life. So, you know, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, nobody's ever going to love me. The fear, the guilt, the overwhelm, the anger, the sadness, the hurt, all of that is what we look at in that space, tailored to you. Taking my life back. So we're looking at the traumas, the influences, the judgments, the patterns and programming that we've taken on. And when we look at those, we're releasing the charge around them. But to do that, that doesn't mean that you need to go back there. It doesn't mean you need to look at it. Like if you've had something that's been traumatic or you just don't want to look at, then you don't have to. We are able to release the trauma around that without going back there, without reliving it. And the benefit of all of the modalities that I do means that I'm able to really tailor that to what you want and what you need. So, you know, picking a process that's going to give you an outcome, but it's going to do it in the easiest way, the most comfortable way, the way that you need it to occur for your best outcome. So, you know, don't worry that, you know, you've had this horrendous thing happen in your past and you just can't even fathom looking at it. That's okay. You don't have to. And then live a life of joy is around uncovering what your life's purpose is, what makes your heart sing, what patterns you've got running that create your best outcomes, your best life, but also what patterns and programming you've got running that interfere with that, so that we can resolve the charge around that as well. And even just having the understanding of what your pattern is allows you to then interrupt it. If you're starting to get off track, you know, you can recognize why that is that's occurring, and you're able to bring yourself back easier and faster. And then, you know, how it all comes together. So it's then about having a look at, you know, well, we've provided that clean slate, we've dealt with all of the stuff that's getting in the way, but where is it that we want to get to? What do we want life to look like? What do we want to achieve? What are our goals? And then ensuring that you've got a belief system that actually supports you to achieve those goals. So it's all well and good to say, you know, I no longer have a fear of public speaking because we've gone through and we've transformed the stress and the trauma around that, and we've given you this clean slate. But what if from that clean slate we can then create a belief system that supports you as a confident public speaker, that, you know, I feel really confident standing in front of a crowd. I always know what to say when I'm standing in front of thousands of people. I speak articulately when I speak to a crowd. I feel so empowered standing on stage. You know, we create whatever that belief system is that you want to support you in what you're working toward, which is just takes everything to a whole nother level. So as I mentioned, I work with a number of different modalities, and that's just them in a snapshot for you. Which does just give me that ability to be able to draw on whatever it is that I need that's going to support you with your best outcome. Where to from here? So this is, as I said, only for people who are committed to transforming their life. If you're not quite there yet, that's okay. You know, maybe you join my private Facebook group, which is a free group where you're still going to get resources, you're still going to get learnings, tips, support, challenges, which are going to help you to make some small change in your world, in your life. You know, there's smaller programs that you can choose, which is still going to give you great outcome. It's just not going to be that full transformation. So there is a level for everybody, but you do need to be committed to letting that stuff go and to creating change in your world. So if that's you, then I encourage you to book your 45-minute free discovery call. We can do that via phone or via Zoom. And in this call, we just ensure that we're a good fit for each other. That, you know, I'm a good fit for you, but also that you're a good fit for my programs as well. As I said, I only take on committed clients. And at the end of that 45-minute free call, If we feel that this is a good fit, then we will look at what program options will best suit your needs. So that 45 minutes just gives you an opportunity to share what it is that you've been finding challenging, what it is that life has looked like for you. And we just do that really briefly. We're not getting into any of the detail, but it's kind of like all of the overview of your life. So that then that program is able to be structured in the best way possible for you to get what you need out of it.